Hello there, my internet friends. Today, I apologize if this video isn't super well edited or if I'm not bringing out the high energy today, but I still want to make this video because I want to celebrate and remember the life of Windham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt. And for those who haven't seen any of my wrestling content, I did used to have a small channel here on the YouTube called Webcam Wrestling, which was literally just me talking into a webcam, which Bray Wyatt is still the thumbnail for that dead channel. And one of the few videos I've done on this channel about wrestling, one of them is about Bray Wyatt's character, The Fiend. I don't think it's a secret to anyone who I've talked to wrestling extensively about to know that Bray Wyatt he was in my Mount Rushmore, he was at the tippy top. He is my first go-to answer when I think of my favorite wrestler, or at the very least my favorite wrestling character. And we've been through this before, where we lose someone that we knew on the internet or through movies or television or whatever, and I'm usually pretty good at not getting too tore up about it because at the end of the day, I don't know these people. But as a person who grew up watching wrestling, you're accustomed to watching it every week, seeing the same characters every week, and sure, people get injured or they leave the company or whatever, but there's a select amount of guys that you expected to be there every week, you rooted for them every week, and then just one week, they're not there anymore. And I think there's something exceptionally tragic about Bray Wyatt because he was probably the most creative wrestler. If you've seen any of his interviews, he can talk extensively about the ideas he has. He's one of the people we know never really got to do what he truly wanted to do. He was always kind of being misbooked. I don't think Vince McMahon and Bray Wyatt saw eye to eye creatively because Vince McMahon's a fucking idiot. But there's something specifically tragic about losing someone who's so young and has so much more to offer. I feel like Bray never really got to tell the story he wanted to quite right. He never got that specific run that he deserved. He never got booked properly. But despite that, despite adversity, despite hardship, he made it work and made some of the best content I've ever seen in a wrestling ring and beyond. And obviously the most tragic thing above all is he's a husband and father, which if there's any silver lining to this, he was able to spend his final days with them and not on the road for some stupid wrestling show. But I don't want this just to be a bummer video. I want to share some of the memories I've had of watching Bray Wyatt over the years. And starting back in the day, he started as Husky Harris, a part of the Nexus. He was just thrown in with a bunch of random newbies, and they all got booked terribly. They ran them all into the ground, and each one of them went off and did their own thing. And I think Bray, other than maybe Daniel Bryan, soared above them all. He adopted the persona of Bray Wyatt, who was like a backwater cult leader who was capable in the ring but relied on his faction, the Wyatt family, to even the numbers. And growing up, my brother and I, we loved guys like Undertaker and Kane, guys who had like the spooky mythos about them, and Bray Wyatt was like the modern day version of that. And he was a character that felt more grounded in reality but could do so much of this crazy shit that you would see. Some of my favorite matches, and one of my favorite feuds was when he fought Daniel Bryan. He indoctrinated Daniel Bryan and slowly turned him into a Wyatt family member, and then he turned back, and then it was this big epic fight which Bray won at the Royal Rumble. That is one of my favorite matches, and I don't think if Daniel had such a awesome story around that time, I really don't think he would be able to go on to become champion like he did at WrestleMania. I was actually showing another one of my favorite matches, the Wyatts versus the Shield at Elimination Chamber 2014. We watched that last night. Just as great as I remember. And a lot of people thought it was the beginning of the end for Bray Wyatt, but I do love the John Cena match at WrestleMania 30. It's a perfect example of how even being booked in defeat to John Cena, which 1,000 people have done, he's the one of few people who did something great with that and turned it into this great character piece, which goes back to what I was saying before. That's why I love Bray. He has great character. He has great character work. And he continued to do that even after the Wyatt split up. He was doing his own thing for a long time. Somewhere during that, I saw him at a live show where he was in the main event against Dean Ambrose, put him through a table. Great shit. After that, he went on to win the title. He was constantly booked terribly, but that moment where, again, at Elimination Chamber, where he won the WWE Championship, I remember that happening on a stressful night. Like, I had a lot of drama going on, and I was trying to tune out everything, because I was like, this is my moment. I'm watching my boy win the WWE Championship right now. I don't fucking care about anything else right now. But I did go see that WrestleMania with Bray Wyatt in the main event, which was like a big reason why I wanted to go to the show. Again, when I bought the tickets, I still think that this rivalry with Randy Orton, which was great throughout the year, is gonna end gracefully, but we know how that one went down. WWE has a habit of running characters into the ground, and they ran Bray into the ground, but he picked himself back up, was reborn in the ashes, and turned into the Fiend, which was side by side with the Firefly Funhouse. Again, something nobody else would have thought of, and something immediately when I saw it, I was like, the Firefly Funhouse? I was like, what the fuck is... Little did I know that this goofy Mr. Rogers gimmick was accompanied by this epic horror character, maybe like the best horror character in wrestling. Bella's here to cheer me up. Why are cats able to cure depression? It's great. And I know I'm looping back here, but I remember when Bray first debuted, he was feuding with like Kane and The Miz. And I remember the first time he came out, people were chanting like Husky Harris, but I was immediately enthralled despite that. And I remember his promos were ace. I remember caring more about these random little rivalries with The Miz more than whatever the fuck was going on with the championship at the time. And that's the way I want to remember Bray, is someone who's so talented and so creative, and from what I hear, how he is backstage, so kind that he's able to transform the terrible world around him into something better and entertain me in the process. So thank you, Windham Rotunda. You will be missed. You're already missed. It's gutting to know how tragically short your career and your life was cut, but I know you have a Hall of Fame career out of that, and I know you easily became my favorite wrestler, and today of all days, we celebrate you. But do yourself a favor, watch some Bray Wyatt promos today, watch one of your favorite matches, and celebrate this man and his wonderful, wonderful life and career. Thank you, and with that, I leave you.